Look at that behind us. Whoa.
So we just got back from Branson, Missouri.
It's actually only a few hours away, but we've never been there.
So what happens when we go on road trips with this guy?
We have to go to all the video game stores on the way.
I ended up picking up this Micro Machines N64 game, and then I also got this Diddy Kong Racing. You can hold on to those, don't drop them. I don't know why. Was that on purpose? So then I got Quirk. This is one I've been looking for a little while. And then I also got Mortal Kombat 2 and Bomberman. Most of the game stores we found were on the way there. There wasn't really anything in Branson, but we did find one flea market. The one game that I found that was kind of cool was this Sega Genesis Mighty Max game. I really liked Mighty Max when I was a kid, so I kind of picked it up more as a souvenir than anything.
The place that we stayed was at the Welk Resort. Yeah, it was a suite.
And it was sweet.
I knew you were going to say that.
When you look out the balcony in the back, there was like a little pond area, and Elliott would joke that it was a swamp that Bigfoot would come and drink from.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So the other cool thing about the hotel was the
Pool. It's so weird.
The water slide at the pool is really cool. If you didn't go down it, you were a fool.
I went down it! Stop it!
And we even raced down it once. That was cool. At the pool.
They had a nice little splash pad area outside that had a smaller slide and some little fountains and a giant bucket that dumps water on your head.
So the other thing that was cool about the pool.
Such a tool. There's a really big spot cut out from the wall all the way down to the floor of the pool where you could just walk right out to the outside, which was really cool.
At the pool.
At the pool. I've never seen anything like that, but we basically stayed inside the inside part the whole time because we didn't want to.
We didn't want to have to put on sunscreen
or worry about getting sunblock or sunburn. We're doing really good on this.
So the main reason we wanted to go down Branson was the go-karts. A few months ago, I was looking at some video game website, and there was an article that said Mario Kart in real life. And I looked at it, and they had all these tracks, or some were made of wood, and some were made of like metal, and they had big hills and these big spiral things. I was like, this looks awesome.
Yeah, initially I was a little skeptical about planning an entire vacation around go-karts, but it actually turned out to be really cool.
Each location would have their kind of featured track. My favorite track was the Heavy Metal High Rise. It had this big spiral that went up, and then it had like the biggest hills that you would go down.
Yeah.
You could go in really fast going down the hills. What was your favorite track?
The Heavy Metal High Rise was a little too scary for me and Elliott, so we really liked the Lumberjack, which was an all wooden track. You kind of went up a corkscrew and then you went a little bit slower down. There weren't any big hills or anything like that.
We wanted to get Elliott on the rookie track so he could drive his own car, and they, didn't go too fast, but fast enough. the minute we got him sold on and he really wanted to go on, then we got him measured and he was too short to ride it.
Poor baby.
So he had to ride the kiddie carts. But he really liked that too.
Yeah. We lucked out too because he was the only one in line when it was our turn, so he got the whole place to himself instead of having to share with any other little kids.
Yeah.
Which was so fun because he kept driving. Like, well, what was he doing? Do you remember?
He would like hit the gas and then he would let off and then hit the gas and then let off.
He would like
I think
jerk
he just,
back. Like,
yeah, I think he just liked hearing the engine rev and he was like, vroom, vroom, vroom.
Someone suggested that we check out Top of the Rock. And as soon as I saw the pictures on the website, I was like, we gotta go.
Think Bigfoot's in there?
No, I
I
don't.
bet he's...
And there was one area where there was this big rock that you could kind of like climb up on. And Elliott found this little like place that was carved out that was like the perfect chair for him. And he was joking around saying it was the Elliott chair.
Yeah, and it was like this giant rock and this little bitty hole
Yeah.
that he found. That's pretty cute. After we went to Top of the Rock, we found this really cool place nearby called Fun Mountain. Inside, when you come in, it's really cool because it looks like you're underwater.
Yeah.
And there's this giant boat that's basically like a playground for the kids.
Yeah, it had like, you could climb up there and there was a little like net thing that you could climb on and a bunch of slides you could go down. And it was nice because we could like eat dinner like right next to that. And Ellie could go play while we're waiting for our food. And,
Yeah, it was so good too.
yeah.
The food was really
yeah,
good.
the food was good. They had bumper cars. They like kind of like had a mind of their own. Like you would drive them around, and then all of a sudden they would just like start spinning you around or drive you in a weird direction.
And when Nick got into his, Elliot goes, "Daddy, yours is still plugged in." And it turns out there was like a plug in the wall for his.
And my car was like still plugged in, like charging, and so I had to like flag down the lady and get her to like stop the bumper cars.
Yeah, so he was like, "Did yours like go crazy?
Yeah.
Because I think mine was broken."
Yeah, I thought mine was broken at first.
That place had so many other things too. They had bowling, they had an arcade, another type of bumper cars. They spun vertical and horizontal. Like it was like a 360 spin. I was like, I'm gonna throw up all over your bumper cars.
So in Branson, there's this road called the Strip. It's kind of like mini Las Vegas. But I think my favorite thing on the Strip was the toy museum. I've been looking around for micro machines a lot, and for some reason I just never see them, and I think I finally figured out where all of them are. They're at this toy museum.
So right across the street from the toy museum was one of Elliott's favorites, the Bigfoot on the Strip.
We played the claw machine to try to win a Bigfoot, and we got one!
On the very first try!
Yeah.
Of course, I had the camera in my hand, and I didn't record it. He really loved being at the Bigfoot,
Yeah.
Area.
The other big place you can go in Branson is the Landing, and they also have this really big fountain display. Even though we went for the go-karts, we stayed for the Silver Dollar City.
We found out that if you go to Silver Dollar City after 3 p.m., you can basically go the whole next day with the same ticket. You don't have to pay any more money. I was really not expecting it to be as much fun as it was. I think we really lucked out because the weather was perfect.
And I feel like the park was a little bit more like well put together than some amusement parks that I've seen, because I was kind of expecting it to be a little hokey because it's kind of like old-fashioned-y and stuff, but I thought it was really cool.
There was tons of rides for like younger kids, but there was also a huge selection of rides that we all were too chicken to ride.
So I think my favorite ride, or one of my favorite rides, was Fire in the Hole. It was kind of an indoor roller coaster that went really slow, actually. There was a couple different drops at some point, so you didn't really know when it was coming. So most of the ride, I feel like, is like anticipating when's it actually going to happen. I rode it by myself. The second I got off, I told her to go on because I thought it was really cool and I wanted her to see it too.
As we were walking through the park, we kind of stumbled across little cranks and like water squirt guns, and like Elliott just went crazy. He just like ran up to him and was just like having so much fun squirting all these people on this ride. And we found out it's called River Blast.
Yeah, it's like a little boat that like slowly goes through this little course, and you shoot these targets and stuff on the ride, and you also shoot the other boats and the people sitting around the edge, and it was basically like a war zone. Like we just like stumbled upon this huge like water war. But it had little targets on it, so I'm like, shoot the targets, and we shot them, but they just shot more water at us. In the back of the boat, they had a little thing, and you could open it up and put all your stuff in it. So you could have all your bags and stuff with you and put them in there, and they don't get wet.
They don't get wet.
Like, they should do that on every ride.
Why don't they have that on every water ride? They also had 2 playgrounds. They had one inside and one outside. The outside one it looked kind of like a bunch of little like tree houses. And then they went up in there, and there was like this net kind of flooring that was actually like, it was almost like a trampoline.
You went up there?
Yeah. They didn't let me bounce though, but they did let me go up into there. And the kids like bounced down. And Elliott had a blast. He kept asking, when can we go back? When can we go back to the playground?
That's all he wanted to do. Go back there. And then I told him, well, there's an indoor playground, and he just wanted to go back to the outdoor one. But we finally got him to go to the indoor one. I'm glad we did, because inside like little air cannons, and there's these little blue foam balls just sitting all over the place, and you can pick them up and fill up a bucket of them and then load up these cannons. That was like the second war zone that we went into, and it had multiple levels, so you could go up 3 stories and like shoot down, and you could also load up these huge buckets up in the top, and eventually they would tip over and spill all the balls all over everybody, and like everybody was running around like crazy, and it was super loud in there. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Elliott had a blast in there.
So one thing I also liked about that park was it wasn't just about the rides. You know, they had the playgrounds, but they also had like other little attractions throughout that were just like, that could be somebody like doing glass blowing or making taffy or something like that. But then they also had like little cabins and a little church. But I think the coolest little attraction that we found,
stumbled upon,
you could almost just walk right by it, but there's this little like house with this little door like almost on the side where you don't even notice it. And it's called Grandfather's Mansion. It's kind of like a fun house.
So you go in, and there's like it kind of is like a bridge. There was something weird about the bridge. I don't know if we fully understand, but I
think it like twisted as you walked.
Yeah, it was really weird. And then like the next room you went into, everything was upside down. Like when you looked up, there was a rug with slippers on the ceiling. And like there was a guy in one of the rooms, like in a rocking chair, rocking on the ceiling. Like it was crazy.
So in the last room, there was like, the floor was like crooked, or I think the floor was straight, but the house was crooked. No, the floor was crooked.
The floor was crooked, but the house looked like straight.
I don't know, I can't figure it out. Basically, it looked like you were like standing crooked all the time, like this.
And Elliott just like got the hugest kick out of it.
And the second we got out of that place, we just went around and did it all over again.
They had a real steam train that you got to ride. And basically while you were riding, they kind of put on a little skit for you. And they said to look out for bandits. So they stopped the train, and there's these 2 actors.
And they basically like act like they're robbing the train.
I happen to have in my bag 2 little gold wrapped candies.
We had Elliott hand them to the guy when he was robbing the train, and it was awesome because the actors totally played along with it, and they were like, did you steal these from a bank or something like that? And Elliott thought that was really cool.
Yeah, it was a fun little ride.
So while we were at Silver Dollar City, there was a cave there, and we wanted to go in it, but when you're in the line, they're like warning you that it's got all these steps and it's really dark and all this stuff. So then we decided not to do the cave.
But along the way down, we had been seeing all these billboards that said fantastic caverns.
It was 60 degrees in the cave. You got to sit in a trailer the whole ride, and we thought that was much more our speed. overall, I think it was a really good trip, and we're definitely going to go back.
It was such a great time, and I think we really had a lot of fun just hanging out all together. So if you guys know of anything that we missed, let us know in the comments below.
Especially if there's any good places to eat or anything like that.
Yes, let us know. And if you like this video, be sure to like it, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel. That's a terrible high five.
Ow! Alright, that's
No, one more. One more. I'll do it right. You ready? Ah!